Welcome back to the Future of Real Estate, Tulsa source for local real estate news and information. And speaking of that local information, how are we doing in Tulsa's real estate market? I'm sure you've heard the news. The whole economy is in an uproar about what's happening with real estate values. Well, where are we in Tulsa? As of December 31st, 2007, you want to guess?
No, I was still thinking about the economy. Remember that statement that they got that Bush didn't get elected on last time, Bush Sr.? It's the economy, stupid.
Yes, yes.
So I just had that ringing in my mind when you asked that, and I was daydreaming about that. Sorry.
Here's what's going on, really. What we like to watch are the sale prices and the number of homes, that's the available inventory, what's been listed, and the number of closings we've had. Those ratios are very important. It keeps track of the absorption rate. Well, we have had homes, single-family homes, an increase of 400 properties over last year. Now, out of nearly 27,000 homes on the market, 400 is not really a huge number. But at the same time, the closed transactions have dropped approximately 500. So there's a little bit of imbalance there. Now, if you're looking at by comparison to the national news, wow, we're in a great seller's market because it's really bad elsewhere. So we have a lot to be grateful for here in Tulsa. What's the biggest reason? Well, we didn't have this big bubble to burst in the first place. So with some of the loans not being available like they used to, which you're going to tell us about that in a minute, Jeff, we've seen a little bit of a decline, but this is really nothing more than what we might see in a typical market cycle. So really something to be happy for here. But here's something that's interesting. Over 2006, the average sale price in 2006 of those homes that sold, $147,497. So almost $147,500. Well, $155,000 is the average sale price this year. So even though it's slowed down just a little bit, the prices have come up. So sellers have a lot to be thankful for, and if you want to know what's really happening in your local market, you know, Tulsa area as a local market also has micro markets within that, and that's each neighborhood or each price range or school district. So things that you might want to know as a home seller, it's very important that your realtor be armed with that information because that's going to determine whether or not you sell. You can find some of that information and find some of those great realtors at 258-2600. Call the Baskin Real Estate Specialists and I'll get one of my listing partners out there to talk to you. 258-2600 McGraw Realtors. Now, talking about that, Jeff, some of this news has come about because of loan programs changing and things that are or aren't available that just 6 months ago we were touting here on the show. So what's happening right now with FHA and bond loans?
And also, I think if you watch the national news every night, you're going to be scared, you're going to be gun-shy.
I know.
Listen to Darryl, because this is happy stuff. And we had the president of the National Home Builders Association in Oklahoma last week, and he said, you know, there may be a bubble that's burst in other parts of the country, but you guys might be safe.
Well, here's what's so great about this. With the rest of the economy, the rest of the markets having this difficulty, the Fed has lowered these rates to prop up their market, not to prop up our market. But who gets the benefit? Because national interest rates are what we're working off here in Tulsa. So we are really getting the best of both worlds. If you're a home buyer, you're doing great. If you're a home seller, you have a lot to be thankful for, too. So this is good news for us.
It's all good news. They do that to stimulate the economy. Well, ours is cooking. So maybe this is, you know, just the impetus everyone needs to get into the game because we have low rates.
Well, FHA and bond loans, what do those mean? How do they affect a home buyer's house payment, and who would want FHA and bond? Okay,
FHA is a loan in our region that's $200,160. That's the maximum FHA loan.
And that's different in certain areas.
Yes. And actually, Congress has talked about raising or increasing some of the conventional limits. They haven't passed it, but they want to go from 417 up to 727. That hasn't passed yet, but they want to do that as a temporary Band-Aid.
Even for Tulsa?
Yeah, possibly.
And that'll be good. Why?
It'll be good because you've got these other markets. See, we're always taking care of the rest of the world here in Oklahoma, but it'll help them maybe get out of some of their problems.
A $700,000 home in many other markets is like a small condo. That's a starter home. I mean, it's really
900
not
square
that much.
foot.
My friends talk to me. They look at my website and say.
And poor Darryl sells here in Tulsa instead of there, right? I mean.
Well, no. I
mean, when you're on
myself,
commissions, I'm telling you,
yeah.
$750,000 as a starter home wouldn't be a bad place. Except for right now, they're not selling anything.
I know. See,
they're starving.
What do you have to be thankful for?
Hey, I have everything.
There's a lot to be said about consistency, and that's something we have. A
question I have, and both of you may be able to answer this: with all some of these major corporations leaving Tulsa, has that affected either the lending or the selling or buying of homes?
What major corporations?
Well, you know, we've had Citgo go out and some other ones that have left. Has there been a void, or is it? I mean, has there been more people leaving Tulsa, or is it about even?
That's old news. And on the Future of Real Estate, the radio programs where we've talked to the moving companies, Armstrong United Van Lines, Doug Powers, our moving advisor, he's talking about how we've actually crossed over and we have more people coming in than we have leaving. Now, not by droves, but if you have 55 people coming in and 49 people leaving, that's a net gain. And that's something that we all should be real happy about.
Right.
There's a lot of people relocating here. To Tulsa.
No, and see, that's awesome, and I think that's one of the beauties of this show is that we talk about the positive things. We brag on Tulsa instead of the myths of Tulsa.
Well,
we dispel,
and some of those,
we dispel
some
the
of those, I'm glad you brought it up. Some of those things as major corporations leaving, that's old news. And of course it comes out, you know, it's very newsworthy and people love to get news to panic about. But that is really an attrition. They don't just suddenly close the doors to most companies. They say, okay, we're going to begin phasing out doing business here. Well, you lose 100 jobs, but you bring in 120, you still, again, have that net gain. And there's a lot. If you look at the commercial market, there's a lot happening here. So 481-6833 is the number to ONB Residential Mortgage. You can talk to Jeff Sargent, 481-6833. I'm Darryl Baskin with the Baskin Real Estate Specialist of McGraw Realtors. You've been watching The Future of Real Estate. We'll see you here next week.
Blah, 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 blah.